This painting by Edward Burne-Jones is from an ancient English tale. The King and the Beggar's Maid is a story about an African king, Cophetua, who felt no physical attraction towards women. One day, while looking out a window, the king sees a beggar on the streets, Penelope, and he falls in love with her. The king proposes marriage to her instantly, and she is raised from the lowest social class to royalty. The original rags to riches story stemming from before even Shakespeare's time. We can see from the bottom of the painting stairs ascending in the center that, after multiple levels, lead to a bench enclosed by a grille. The scene depicted here can be compared to the point in the tale when the king sees the maiden from his window. The narrowing perspective from both sides lead to the beggar who is staring back at the viewer. The barefoot girl is dressed in a gray-green dress that is cut jaggedly at the bottom and the shoulder straps. The shoulder straps descend from her collar and the two sides are held together tentatively with a single strand, cord, or pin. The two flaring strips of fabric that make her top is not concluded, but instead tucks behind a high belt wrapped around her ribcage between her breasts and stomach. The barely adequate covering of her front reveals the shape of her breasts, and her navel makes a visible depression through the fabric. Overall, her lithe figure is revealed. Her auburn hair is straight and flat, but her eyes are large. Her thin neck is arched and expresses a feminine fragility. She has a thin face that is rather featureless except the large eyes, which is the first thing the viewer sees even from a distance, as they hold bright pools of reflective light. At her foot, staring fondly, is King Cophetua. He holds his crown casually in his lap as a minor accompanying item. The king's shield is nearby with his jousting pole, placed as though he has just returned from a match. In the maiden's right hand is a small bouquet of light red and purple flowers. Fallen petals are seen on the ground ascending the steps. Behind the king and the beggar girl are two boys holding a folded parchment of musical notes. Inspecting the sheet from the rail, the pair are standing behind the gold enclosure. Both are dressed in fine robes, and fabric is seen draped down toward the maiden from where the boys stand, an expression of plenty. The hint that they are studying music suggests they are preparing to sing, and the enrichment of music in this scene suggests a joyous harmony which could be pressed further as fate for the beggar girl. This would provide an interesting backstory for one she was completely destitute. With the exception of the white skin and bright eyes of the girl, overall the painting is actually dark in tone and slightly unsettling. The girl no doubt shows an expression of innocence and sincerity, but the narrowing perspective from the sides very well could invoke a feeling of being trapped. The columns or slats of the intricately etched golden enclosure could be seen as bars of a cage. The king, gazing at her in whole devotion, sitting at her feet, blocking the steps down, may denote a hellish scenario. Be careful what you wish for.
Quand je ne la